Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review After the Hunt, and this is Luca Guadagnino's new psychological drama, coming to you starring Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, Andrew Garfield, Michael Stuhlbarg, and Chloe Sevigny, written by Nora Garrett. And this film follows a college professor finds herself at a personal and professional crossroads when a star pupil levels an accusation against one of her colleagues and a dark secret from her own past threatens to come to light. And this film, it has all of the flair that you expect out of a Guadagnino film, and it's crisp, it's really well shot, and there's dynamic choices. There's very specific, like, the camera feels like it's moving with you at times in this POV. There's these reverse shots that capture specific character actions. There's a lot of little things that what Guadagnino does to add flair to this. There's interesting sound design moments. Like from the start, we see these montage sequences where you just hear the clicking of a clock, the ticking of the ticking of a clock. That's all the sound, and we see life going on. All of these little choices give this film personality and flair and emphasize certain things throughout. And from a technical standpoint, this is a really impressive film with Malik Hassan Saeed, who is the cinematographer, really crisp camera work. Marco Costa, who is the editor, very sharp. How this all comes together. And then, of course, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross with their killer score that has some unnerving and strange bits to it at certain times to just ratchet up that tension and distortion of the experience of these characters. And others where it's like, when it goes and it's like, basically we feel like we're going to the club. We're going back to Challengers. But there's just so much personality from the filmmaking standpoint here. I do have to say, from a pacing standpoint, this could have been tighter, much tighter. This did not need to be 2 hours and 19 minutes. You feel it. And this story could have gotten to places a little bit sooner. Thematically, this film is a bit murky. And it's challenging because, one, all of these characters are extremely flawed, and it's hard to really like hook on and empathize at times. And I do feel like the film humanizes enough for some of the characters. Others, like one particular character of Maggie, played by Ayo Edebiri, the victim of this whole situation, I never once feel like her character is humanized enough for you to connect. But you see the human aspects and flaws of Alma, played by Julia Roberts, of Hank, played by Andrew Garfield, of Frederick, played by Michael Stuhlbarg, and to a lesser extent, Dr. Kim Sayers, played by Chloe Sevigny. You have, even though they're very flawed and insufferable and petty and childish and sitting loftily up on their high horse as these elite Yale faculty, there's just something about most of them that you can find that connection and see their struggle and feel for it. I feel like it's a bit of a disservice that this character who's at the heart of this feels so fake and just inauthentic in many ways. But story-wise, there's a lot of twists and turns here. It keeps you on edge. There's some shocking revelations. There's some revelations that deepen the complexities of the story, because this isn't a simple of fighting for justice kind of story. It's like, what is justice? And the fact that some of these characters are philosophy professors is also an interesting layer in its own right. But I think this film does struggle sometimes getting through the murk of it all to really hone in on what it's trying to say. And I think the character conflicts certainly have a lot of weight, and there's some impactful character elements that really stand out as well. I think Garrett's writing, there's some strengths here. It's very imperfect, it's very clunky, but there's elements that work. And like I mentioned before, this could have been tighter. It has this like tacked on like ending after a time jump that just feels like it's reinforcing all the things that were very obvious to begin with and didn't really feel necessary. This story could have been trimmed. But the performances, I think Edibiri does a fine job, but it's Roberts who gives a very strong performance. Andrew Garfield gets to go big and really show his emotion, and he's such a talented actor, and you really get to see it. And Stuhlbarg is so just, he brings such a specific energy to Alma's husband, Frederick, that makes him stand out. He steals almost every single scene he's in. But I think Julia Roberts does a fantastic job of anchoring this film down, the nuances and layers of the facial expressions and the physical acting. I think it all comes together. The performances and the filmmaking aspects, the technical prowess that went into this film, they're impressive. And it's interesting that Guadagnino brings this script to life, and it certainly has its clunkiness and ups and downs, but overall, I think this does deliver a compelling and engrossing experience full of conflict and revelations and challenging themes and ideas. It just doesn't come together to deliver another bit of greatness for Guadagnino. But those are my thoughts on After the Hunt. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.